Good morning, Shiloh. It's a beautiful sunny day, plenty of things to be done. But more than anything else, is a day the Lord has made. And I know you keep hearing me say that, but that's the truth. And as long as we know and recognize each day as a gift from God and go looking and seeking for God in the midst of this, we'll be all right. And so this morning, me playing my music and listening and things, listening to the song by Brad Paisley and Sarah Evans, New Again, all of a sudden it just really hit me with the pictures and everything else that Jesus really did that. I want to read you some of the things about Jesus this morning coming out of Luke chapter 22. Let's begin here. When he rose from prayer and went back to the disciples, he found them asleep, exhausted from sorrow. Why are you sleeping? He asked them. Get up and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. While he was still speaking, a crowd came up, and the man who was called Judas, one of the 12, was leading them. He approached Jesus to kiss him. But Jesus asked him, Judas, are you betraying the Son of Man with a kiss? When Jesus' followers saw what was going to happen, they said, Lord, shall we strike with our swords? And one of them struck the servant of the high priest, cutting off his right ear. But Jesus answered, no more of this. And he touched the man's ear and healed him. Then Jesus said to the chief priests, the officers of the temple guard, and the elders who had come with him, am I leading a rebellion that you have come with swords and clubs? Every day I was with you in the temple court, and you did not lay a hand on me, but this is your hour, when darkness reigns. Then seizing him, they led him away and took him into the house of the high priest. Peter followed at a distance, but when they had kindled a fire in the middle of the courtyard and had sat down together, Peter sat down with them. A servant girl saw him seated there in the firelight. She looked closely at him and said, this man was with him. But he denied it. Woman, I don't know him, he said. A little later, someone else saw him and said, you also are one of them. Man, I am not, Peter replied. About an hour later, another asserted, certainly this fellow was with him, for he is a Galilean. Peter replied, man, I don't know what you're talking about. Just as he was speaking, the rooster crowed. The Lord turned and looked straight at Peter. Then Peter remembered the word the Lord had spoken to him, before the rooster crows today, you will disown me 3 times. The men who were guarding Jesus began mocking and beating him. They blindfolded him and demanded, prophesy, who hit you? And they said many other insulting things to him. This is Jesus. This was his last day on earth before the crucifixion. And they laughed at him. They mocked him. They spit in his face. They blindfolded him. They whipped him and beat him and everything else. And he went through that for us, for me. Wow. Just a thought. Saw a bumper sticker or a sign or something that said, sometimes a few will die for many. But only once did one man die for all. to miss the thought of what somebody has done to take away the sins I have committed, to cleanse me from all unrighteousness when I confess those sins, and to make me a different person, and to continue to make me a different person until I die and am with him. What a wonder. What a wonder. God's love on that day ran through fire without thinking because of us. His agape, undeniable love remains this day for all who accept what he did. Amen.